Sara Loera, damn, is it great having you on Living on Music. How are you, my dear?
I'm so good. It's great to be here, Steve. Finally, I'm so glad we were able to make it happen.
Well, me too. And again, as I've mentioned a few times, I have watched your world for a long time. And there's also a beautiful dog who just walked behind you, which I love that. I
That's
love
fun.
that. That's not the first time in my shows that people have had wonderful pets around them. I remember Carla Bonoff, the amazing singer, had a cat jumping around the piano behind her. But I am so happy because I have been watching your incredibly busy world for a long time, and I've learned it's not hasn't been from the beginning just music. You've been doing a lot of different things, the DJing, a bartender at times, right?
Yeah.
Back in the day, marketing, promotions, and of course singing. And I wanted to find out first what have been a couple of the things that you've done most recently that you've really felt good about.
My favorite thing I've done recently was probably touring with Postmodern Jukebox.
Right.
Yeah, I just love what they do. I love the people. I love the arrangements and being able to travel the world, and doing the whole touring thing
Right.
was just so great. And when, the people that you're with make all the difference.
Sure.
And those people are just wonderful. So I did Europe with them last year, last fall, and that was amazing. Like France, Spain, Switzerland, Belgium. Where else were we? I think that was mostly it. And I did Canada with them before
Oh,
that, but and the East Coast. But this last Europe tour was just so great, and yeah, just wonderful. That's what
what
I'm done.
What kind of band is Postmodern Jukebox? And is it all original music? Is it a cover and original? Is it and what is your role with them?
Yeah. So, Postmodern Jukebox, they started out as kind of an internet sensation. I think the first singer to really blow them up was Haley Reinhart. And what they do is they take modern music and do it in an old-timey style.
Right.
So I think their first huge hit that they had was Haley Reinhart's version of Creep. So
Oh,
yeah, so she did Creep in yeah, I'd have to listen to it again. I think it's kind of this like
sure.
slow blues style, and they make it look all vintage. I think they did the video in black and white, and they make it look like it's in, like a 1930s speakeasy or something like that. I don't know if there was still speakeasies in the 30s. I think
Right.
prohibition had been over by then, but at any rate, they give it that vintage feel,
Oh,
and so that's what they do. So they take modern songs and do them in an old style. What's their tagline? Today's hits yesterday, something like that. So it's really really cool, and they've just got the most fantastic singers in their stable of talent, and
wow.
really some of the best singers I've ever heard in my life, to be honest. And none of them are super super famous. I mean, they're not like people that have been now. I mean, there's different levels of fame for singers, obviously.
Right.
People don't realize that. We can go into that later. But these are all very accomplished singers that aren't necessarily household names, but are definitely some of the best singers in the world.
Oh, yeah, I
And
bet.
yeah, just amazing and amazing performers. And they have a tap dancer that does like like tap routines to these arrangements. So they'll take like, yeah, they have like a Mario, like the Mario theme songs. They'll do like a medley of Mario theme songs in like a ragtime style, and the tap dancer does this amazing. And it sounds sort of cheesy,
Oh.
but it's so not, and it's the best show. It really is,
It,
and
it 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 does. It sounds like a wonderful experience for you to have at this point because you're again, and I love you. One of your taglines was, "I can sing anything."
yeah.
And it's true, you said to that. And it is true because that's what I've noticed is over the years that I've watched you and I've kind of taken a real, uh, part of what you've been doing and watching you sing. It is incredible your versatility and your dedication to the music. Do you love, is this exactly something that you want to continue to do with this band? Is there anything right now that's going to break out for you to continue to do, or what is looking for coming up?
So yeah, I would love to keep working with PMJ.
I bet.
I still have dreams about those people and being on the road with them, and I'm just so fond of all of them. So I would love to keep doing that. But I do have some sort of exciting stuff on the immediate horizon. I have a guy in New York who wants to sign me for a management contract. And I'm looking at that right now. It's somebody I've worked with before in the past. I did a couple of like EDM songs for
Right.
him. He just hired me on as a session singer for the
Wow.
DJ guys that approached him. He's a promotions guy out of New York. So what happens is people will, do a song and then hire him to promote it. And he's in touch with all the people who are involved in what makes it onto the Billboard
Right.
chart.
Sure.
So I did a couple songs that he promoted and got in the top 10
Yes.
of the Billboard Dance Chart. Yeah.
Yeah.
And not the Hot 100, but the dance charts was still pretty cool.
Yay.
Anyway, but he's starting a record label, and he's just a big fan of my talent. And he's sort of like you, just seeing how hard I've worked over the years and my dedication to music. And thinks I've got a lot talent and looks and all these things and versatility. So he wants to manage me, and he's thrown out some really cool ideas for some songs and some videos. And I think he's more the kind of towards more the electro orientation.
Right.
So I don't think it's going to be straight ahead EDM music, because that's not
Right.
totally my thing. But I do love, disco and house music and all that kind of stuff. So it
Sure.
might be because I am very versatile. I mean, my heart is in rock and roll, really.
Yes.
Ultimately, my heart is in rock and roll.
Us hell, hell is for children, and you know that their little lives can become such a mess. Hell, hell is for children, and you shouldn't have to pay for your love with your bones and your flesh.
Oh, that's what I can find when I watch what you do, because all the songs that you do, 99% of them, I'm like, oh, there's that one. And yeah, that seems to be something in your heart.
Yeah, that's where those are my foundations is in rock and roll. But it's nice to kind of veer away from that and get a different audience. I like to kind of have a broader audience than just the rock audience. I love the rock audience, obviously,
Sure.
but since my tastes are so varied and
Sounds so sweet and clear, but you're not really here. It's just the radio. Don't you remember you told me you loved me, baby? You said you'd be coming back this way again, baby. Baby, 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 oh baby, I love you, I really do.
I like to kind of have a broader audience than just the rock audience. I love the rock audience, obviously,
Sure.
but since my tastes are so varied, and that's why I kind of had a hard time. People say, well, why don't you do original music? That's a big question, and I have done original music.
Yes.
But in the past, I didn't know what style I wanted to put out. And now I'm realizing, well, I can do any style, whatever mood strikes me that day. It really doesn't matter. You don't have to, you're not going to be pigeonholed into any one style necessarily
Right.
throughout your life. But at the time, I wasn't thinking that way. And I thought, I like so many different styles. I don't even know what direction I would go.
Right.
So that's happening. So I'm actually meeting with him tomorrow at 10 a.m. So we'll see how that goes. He sent me a contract, which I have not read over yet. I'm going to. We'll see what he's got in there. So that's exciting. And then another thing I have going is I want to do a YouTube show where I interview people about music, kind of like what you're doing, but um, well, I can't really talk about it too much right now. But I do have some big names lined up. Like my friend David Foster already agreed to be on the
Yes.
show, so I'm very excited about that to interview him, and David Page as well, and so that'll be really cool, and just some other people that music heads that are friends of mine. So I will go more into that once it's a little bit more fleshed out. But that's something that's coming up on the horizon too. I have a guy in New York who works for Amazon who's helping me with it, and that should be really cool. So there's some good stuff on the horizon.
No, that sounds perfect.
Yeah.
I love that. And what is so mind blowing to me, and you should be immensely proud, and I want to know what you feel like it. You know, again, what 250 million views on YouTube here, and give or take a million or so.
Yeah.
You've got the wonderful following on all social media, and the levels are really, Sarah, something monstrous. It's fabulous, and I love this description. With her eclectic background and diverse experiences, Sarah continues to captivate audiences worldwide with what you're doing, with a unique sound, passion. Yes, there's some of that, and unwavering commitment to her craft. What does it feel like to have this kind of following?
It's it's funny. It's kind of hard to put into words, but
I bet.
yeah, it's just you realize when things go viral and the kind of reaction that you get from people, you say to yourself, wow, I guess there really is, I got something that
Right.
resonates with people. I got something that resonates with people. And I think that I don't think it's necessarily, I mean, obviously a great singer. I definitely, have confidence in my talent, and, people, I like to look at me and stuff, which is great. But it's not just that. It's not just that. It's some sort of vibrational thing. I don't know exactly what, but you know, I think that I don't want to get too woo woo with all this, but as humans, we all have, experiences throughout our life that shape us
Yes.
and leave permanent imprints on on who we are. And I think as artists, those things that we've been through really shine through us.
Yeah.
And that's kind of part of what we do as
Sure.
artists, allow those things to shine through.
Sure.
That's really, I think, what kind of captivates people is that kind of unspoken thing that they sort of get from just watching you. They kind of feel that.
Sure.
And I think it's something like that. I think it's something that comes from the inside that's sort of speaking to people.
Hmm.
And so it's a beautiful thing. I think it's really cool. Yeah.
It is, and I've also noticed again the beauty and the passion and the sensuality of your kind of presence is wonderful. People can have that, but the singing, the sound, being able to do what you're doing like that, and having what you just talked about, this inside thing, that is just fabulous. We have a bunch of things I want to hit on, which is again how you got, you were a DJ for a while. You also did a bunch of other wonderful things going along. But let's talk a little bit about Anaheim back in the early 90s.
Yeah.
And when life began and you went through life like that. Talk a little bit about, and I know some of this, but there was some experimenting early with piano and flute and things like that. And what were some of those reasons why the music grabbed you so early?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember being obsessed with music from, oh my gosh, I guess as early as I can form memories, which is probably like age 5.
Right.
And that I was living in Granada Hills at the time, and my earliest memory I think was Elvis Return to Sender for whatever
Oh,
reason, and I remember hearing it and just thinking it was really cool, and
oh,
hearing the lyrics and singing them, and I just fell in love with music so early to like an obsessive level, um, and my dad had a big record collection.
right.
And he had a lot of 45s and stuff. And I remember listening to Do You Love Me? Do You
Oh,
Love Me? Yeah, that I forget what this is called and who does it. Is it Wilson Pickett? I
yeah.
can't
I think it might be.
I think it might be.
I'm trying, like, yeah.
Yeah, anyway, now that I can dance. Then the Shirelles Soldier Boy, I remember him having that
Right.
on 45. And I think, because my home life was a little tumultuous, and my dad's records were just my escape from
Right.
from life, really. I mean, because it was things were crazy at home,
There were. Oh, wow.
which I won't go into. That's for my therapist.
Sure.
I'm seeing her tomorrow. But yeah, things were crazy at home. So I would get home from school and I would just listen to records for hours, hours and
Oh,
hours until my parents got home at like 6 or 7 or whatever. And that was my life, and it was all rock. It was the Beatles and Stones and Jethro Tull, Uriah Heep and
wow.
ELO and all that great stuff from the 60s and 70s. And yeah, and I was in band, I was in band, and I got
Right.
really good, at every instrument I tried like really, really fast.
Oh, good.
And
Wow.
I was a dancer also. So it was just music was in my body and in my brain and my spirit.
Wow.
And yeah, and then um once I got into like junior high and high school,
Right.
yeah, just never ending with the Walkman. It was a Discman at the time, the CD player Discman. And I just, some of my earliest memories are walking home from junior high, listening to Sticky Fingers by the Rolling Stones, the whole, that CD, and
Perfect.
like probably the Rocky Horror Picture Show soundtrack, or because I was very into that. And during my formative years, and yeah, that was a big influence on me when I was really young.
I
But
bet.
yeah, it's just music was an escape for me, really, and even more than that, it just was my destiny. It just called me so strongly,
Right.
and it always has. And there's been times in life when I thought, God, am I gonna have to get a real job someday? I mean, God forbid. But I just tell myself, no, no, I'm not.
Right.
I'm not. I'm going to stay in this industry in one way or another forever. This is what I do. This is what
Sure.
I love, and there's no reason why I should ever have to do anything else.
So music felt for you then, back then, that music was really thinking this I want this to be my life, my career.
I didn't know if I could make it a career. I didn't know at the time. I think when I was at that time, I probably thought I wanted to be in musicals and stuff, like on stage and on Broadway and stuff like that.
Right.
I thought that would be the way to go,
Right.
and I wanted to do theater,
Right.
and I thought that would be the way to make a living because I didn't know that you could make a living as an independent singer.
Yes. And that was your first academic journey, right? To
Yeah,
theater
yeah.
at Cal State Long Beach.
Yes, yeah.
Wow.
So I did theater, yeah, and before I transferred there, I was doing theater at Fullerton Junior College, which has a great
Right.
theater department.
Okay.
And I it just wasn't the world for me,
Right.
I just it wasn't the vibe. It didn't fit. It was, it's really how would I put this? It's just very kind of catty, a little competitive, and the theater world, it just didn't fit me. But once I started working in bands, I was like, okay, this is where I belong. Like these people are cool, they're laid back, theater people are, they're interesting people. I'm not saying they're bad people.
Right.
It just
Right.
it just wasn't a fit.
Sure.
I was like, I can't with these theater nerds, man. I gotta get out of this shit. Like, it just wasn't. So I gave up on that, and I ended up getting my degree in communications, just
Right.
so I could get a
Okay.
degree, and then after that, after I was done with school, I was like, okay, well, what the hell am I gonna do now?
Right.
And so I was trying some different things, and then that was when I started DJing. And
Yes, that was late 2000s, right?
yeah, that's right, late 2000s. Yeah.
As you began to do that, and yeah, you couldn't, the music was still embraced in your soul, but
Oh
now it
yeah.
was, how did the DJ thing begin?
It's funny. I got discovered on MySpace by somebody who was doing a rock and roll. Well, the night was actually called Rock and Roll Cabaret,
Oh
and
yeah.
Yeah, it was called Rock and Roll Cabaret, and it was at a now. Yeah, it was at a now. It didn't quite look like that. It was not quite as fancy as all that. It was at a club in downtown LA.
Right.
It doesn't exist anymore. Called Vertigo's,
Nice.
and it was like a three-part thing. They had DJs
Okay.
spinning mostly garage rock
Right.
and burlesque
Wow.
acts, and then bands that would play like
Sure.
during the night.
Sure.
So I had a picture of myself up on MySpace with my records all spread out around me. And I think I just looked really pretty in the picture and I had my records. And somebody, the guy that ran the club, reached out to me and he was like, "Hey, do you DJ?" And I think might have done it. I don't know if I had ever DJ'd at that point. I just was obsessed with, I had a record collection, I had a huge record collection. And I said, "Well, not really, but I could try." And
Right.
he's like, "Okay, well, come DJ at my club." And I was like, "Okay." So, which is kind of, I know it's not, I guess I kind of had like, pretty privilege at that moment. He's just
Hmm.
like, "Oh, you look good and you have records. Come DJ."
Yeah, come on.
But it ended up working out because I'm legitimately, I have great taste in music and I had so many records. And then that started me just collecting 45s, like rare
Oh,
45s, because that was kind of the thing, and
sure.
there were some people at that club that were using Serato, laptops and stuff, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do vinyl only, and really I wanted to spin only 45s, rare 45s, these
Sure.
garage rock 45s. So I got so into it, man.
Oh,
Oh my God. Once I started, that was it. I fell in love with it and I took it so seriously and I spent just thousands of dollars on records. And I have some rare records,
I
some rare
bet.
45s. I have a couple of them that are I think my rarest one is worth like $500 or something, which by the way, I need to add, I got it for $12.
Ah,
I found
wow.
it for $12 off some website. I forget what the website was years ago. And I knew what it was. I was like, "Oh my God, is this for real? This insane record is on sale for $12. This guy has no idea what this is." So I got it and
Oh,
my friends were blown away. They were all so pissed off. They were like, "What? You got it for 12?" Because it's like a $500 record. Or
yeah.
like,
I think my most rare one is "I Want to Hold Your Hand," the original Beatles 45.
oh, that's amazing.
I don't know if it's $500, but I don't know what it actually is worth at the moment. Were you playing while you were DJing? Were you playing with garage rock bands at the same time?
Yes. So I was DJing and I just started DJing a bunch. I got so into it and I was getting booked all over the place. And I got booked at this really cool club that it doesn't exist anymore, but it was called the Black Eyed Soul Club.
Wow.
And it was at a place called Medusa Lounge. Over here, I was in like Echo Park or Los Feliz. So I DJ'd there at the Black Eyed Soul Club
Yeah.
and just had an epic night. And the guy that ran that club was starting a band and he wanted a singer and he wanted to do 60s garage rock covers. So I auditioned and I got the gig and yeah, and we started doing that and that was really fun.
Right.
Yeah, that was super fun. And then I did another 60s style band of an original band
Okay.
called Electric Mind Machine, and that was really fun. And
Right.
I just love that style of music, and it all started. Um, are you familiar with the compilation Nuggets? It's
Yeah,
called,
it
yeah,
sounds familiar. Yes.
yeah. So Lenny Kaye, I think he was Patti Smith's bass player, guitar player.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So Lenny Kaye put this compilation together, I think in the 80s, called Nuggets, original artifacts from, it's basically a garage rock compilation.
Oof.
It's kind of, it's just hits that never were, from the 60s.
Oh,
And some of them are just really out there and really fantastic.
wow.
And there's a record store in Long Beach called Dizzy on Vinyl. And Dizzy gets the credit for getting me into garage rock.
God.
Because he was the first one to turn me on to Nuggets. He burned
Oh,
a copy of it for me onto CD, and I just couldn't get enough. I couldn't get enough. of the style, the mod scene. I still have a suitcase full of like vintage mod mini dresses and go-go boots and stuff. And
Wow.
it was really cool. And
Oh, I bet.
yeah, and they have festivals in Europe. I went to one of those in Spain, and it's a really cool scene. And
Right.
it's not as big in LA as it was, before the pandemic. It sort of died out a little bit after the pandemic. But during, the time when I was involved in like the late 2000s, it was huge, and it was just a really fun scene of really interesting, colorful,
Oh.
wacky people.
Oh, I believe that. That sounds absolutely wonderful. When did the trip to Asia come in, which sounded to be a biggie?
Yeah, so that happened in 2010,
Right.
at the end of 2010. So that sort of came about through Ken Tamplin, who also, gave me my start in a way
Hmm.
in like professional gigs.
Oh,
So
great.
I was just singing in the garage bands up until then, and I answered an ad. Now, what was it? I had like a profile up on a website called One Model Place, which was for like
Right.
models, actresses, stuff like that.
Sure.
And I said that I could sing, and he was looking for girls who could sing, that looked good or whatever, and called me, and I came and auditioned for him for a corporate cover band that he was trying to put together.
Okay.
And this was in like 2008, I guess. Yeah, it was 2008. So I got the spot in the cover band. We filmed this big, expensive, fancy promo video.
Oh,
The winter's got to let go, things you never knew before.
I have like I'm for weeks except at the sea.
And what 2 + 2 makes 4 now, ABC. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Or simple as no, ABC. 1, 2, 3, baby, you make me. And I want to thank you for giving me the best day of my life. And oh, just to be with you is giving me the best day of my life. I couldn't dance for another. Groove is in high. Groove is in high.
And then the economy crashed, and it all just kind of nothing happened of that. And he kind of had to shelve that idea. And that was when he started his vocal academy, because he's like, okay, there's no, I'm not going to be able to book this band. That was
right.
originally how he wanted to, how he wanted to make a bunch of money, was by booking this corporate cover band. And he said, okay, that's not going to work because the economy crashed. So he started his academy. Hi, my name is Sarah. I'm the lead singer from the Sweet Nothings. And I just want to tell you how amazing the Ken Tamplin Vocal Academy is. Before I started doing his exercises, I had a really bad pitch problem. I had issues with projection. And from doing them, I can't tell you in words how much it will make your voice grow. You just have to try it for yourself. I tell Ken that it's like my Excalibur sword. It's my secret weapon that I don't want to share with anybody, because if everybody had it, then everybody would sound amazing, and we can't have that happening. So he really liked my talent and my singing, and so he gave my email address to an agent in China,
Oh.
who was actually in the movie Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh.
And so this agent in China had been started reaching out to me, emailing me saying, oh, come to China. And I was like, I ain't fucking going to China. Are you
Right.
mind? And I think I was bartending at the time and still DJing, and I was playing in the garage band, and I was dating the bass player at the time.
Right.
And then that ended up going to shit. We
Oh.
broke up, and I think I got laid off from my bartending job. And they loved me so much there. It was tragic, but I was just late. I was just late all the time. And I remember one day, it was 4th of July, and I was so late, and they had to lay people off in the fall every year, because it was a beach bar. And they ended up laying me off, and I know they felt really bad about it, but I was just being a kind of a douchebag. I mean, I always did a great job once I was there,
Right.
but I got laid off and my relationship ended, and
Oh.
I was like, damn. I was like, you know what? China ain't looking so bad right now. So I packed up all my shit. I put it into storage, from my little studio apartment I was living in Long Beach. And I was like, all right, fuck it, we're going to China. And so I got on a plane, much to my father's dismay. He was absolutely terrified.
Oh.
And I went to China, and yeah, I landed in this small city called Dalian, which
Right.
is like up on the coast near the Yellow Sea. And it was in December and it was snowing.
Yeah.
And I remember just landing there and looking around and being like, oh my God, the culture shock is just, because it's
I bet.
so different. And I had a great experience though, mostly. I mean, I did end up getting kicked out of the country, but that's another story.
Okay, well, to not ask about that,
I didn't do anything illegal. Well, I guess technically I did. It was over working. It was over some working visa issues. My club got busted. They did this big investigation and realized that the band didn't have like the proper documentation of working visas. We all ended up getting kicked out of the country.
Oh.
But I stayed in Asia though. I was like, I'm not going home. I just wasn't ready to go home.
Right.
So I kind of hopped around Asia and did gigs all around Malaysia and Indonesia I think I was out there for a year and a half.
Right.
And by the time that was over, I was like, okay, I'm ready to go home. Came back, stayed with my sister in New Orleans for a month, and then came back to California.
Well, and when you returned to the United States from Asia, didn't that kick in your professional singing and full-time live and session singing life?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Wow.
I totally did. So, yeah, I got linked up with an agent who works out of Vegas, who books just all sorts of things, and started doing all kinds of gigs through him, and got a steady gig at this lounge in Newport Beach, and did that. I still work there sometimes.
Oh,
I
cool.
was there on Sunday.
Awesome.
And oh yeah, 13 years I've been working there.
Oh.
And just, yeah. And I was like, I'm not, this is it. I was like, I got a singing career. I started it. I may have started it abroad. I don't know how the hell I'm going to hang on to this thing, but I am clinging onto this thing for dear life. And so I did, and here I am, all these years later, and I'm still doing it.
Yeah, I mean, you earned it back then, and you earned this label as this highest demand and diligent singers at the restaurant, and that things just seemed. 2013, your first YouTube video in June. Now you only have a couple out there now.
I know there's a lot. Yeah. Was that when I started? That must have been when I started recording with Ken, probably.
Right, around 2013, and then that was your first one. How did that become something that you really liked to do and spread the word on what you were doing in that way?
Yeah, I just I had a great working relationship with Ken, and he loved using me for his channel, and we worked well together, and just seeing the response I got from the videos, and
That's great.
all the comments and how I'm like, because it's just, in life, when you do things and you're like, oh, this is working. Like,
Right.
okay, I need to keep doing more of this because this is working. So let's do that,
Right. Well, that's what I've noticed for some of your YouTube videos, and again, being a guy who does a lot with YouTube and stuff like that, the amount of people that watch these videos of the songs you do it's astounding. It's almost more than huge rock stars that I've interviewed that have been around forever. You really have a bunch of people who love what you do. You got to feel that makes you feel good.
It does. I'm a little, it's kind of like I'm a little conflicted about it in a way, not in a bad way.
Sure.
It's just I guess I'm humbled by it. I'm humbled.
That's
by
what
it.
I was about to say. Humble.
Yeah. I'm humbled by it.
You'll take my life, but I'll take yours too. You'll fire a musket, but I'll run you through. So when you're waiting for the next attack, you better stand, there's no turning back. The bugle sounds, the charge begins. But on this battlefield, no one wins. The smell of acrid smoke
you should feel proud of yourself because it's always wonderful to see, and you always do a absolutely wonderful song every time. 2015, I believe it was, you released your self-titled EP. What was
Yeah.
on there?
That was just cover songs that I
Right, but
did.
still, you released an EP.
Yeah,
You
I
must
did.
you must have been like, "Whoa, there we go. There's putting something out."
Yeah, I just wanted to put something out. I just wanted to put something out. And, I still feel like I haven't put anything out that really comes organically from me.
Right.
So I still want to do that,
Now, do you mean that, sorry, do you mean organically for original music?
Yeah, yeah.
Now, you did the undiscovered, you did some original stuff, Undiscovered Country in 2019. Wasn't that original music?
That was all original music, but yes, that was all original music. That was super fun. And
Like
I did
a concept album, though, right?
was a concept album, but the concept was not mine. It was not
Okay.
mine.
Right.
So that was sort of a pet project from this guy, a lovely guy named Andrew Waters.
Right.
And you get these guys who are not musicians, but they're very creative and they want to do creative things, but they don't have the talent, in whatever field that they want to be creative in. So they
Sure.
get other people to do it for them. So Andy found me through YouTube and said, I have an idea for a concept album. Will you write it? And can I, and sing it? And I was like, well, how much you paying for this shit? And he told me, and I was like, okay. And I liked the concept,
Right.
obviously. I like the concept was really cool. It's kind of outer space rock opera thing.
Right. An artificially intelligent android soldier who lives in the far future. That's
Right. Yeah. I thought it was super cool because I love sci-fi and I was like, okay, this is cool. I can get into this. And so we got this writer named Johnny Fly. Oh my God, I need to respond to him. I forgot he emailed me. This guy named Johnny Fly, who was in a popular band in the 90s. I can't remember the name of the band, but they were on MTV and stuff in the 90s. And
right.
he was good friends with my ex, Mario, who I'm still great friends with. And
Okay.
they were in this band together in the 90s. And Mario was like, okay, let's get Johnny because Johnny's a great writer. And Johnny wrote the basis of the songs and most of the lyrics. And then Mario did the arrangements.
Right.
And I kind of came in and tweaked some stuff and kind of directed where the arrangements would go. And I'd say, no, that sounds too symphonic. I wanted a little bit more, prog rock sounding or whatever, more guitars,
Sure.
tweaking the lyrics a little bit, but yeah, it was a really cool experience and it was fun. And we got in some magazines. We got in like Prog Rock magazine. I got, they
Oh.
put me in there and that was really cool,
I have no power to carry on. I've slept through eternities longer than long. My dreams become nightmares and come to life only in song. I used to live by the light of the sun, a sun that's been lifeless for millennia. I've sung my story and now I must be moving on. I am unfamiliar with the necessary end, not even in the blossoms of my sin. I cannot continue with this endless masquerade, living in this artificial skin. A tale of sound and of fury, the lines become endlessly blurry. A prisoner of this meaningless state. And for me there's no glory ahead in wait.
But again, I feel, like I still have yet to do something that really comes organically from me. So I'm waiting for that.
Well,
So I'm really,
that's what I was going to ask. Is that something that Sarah is really gonna want to do as you're going along and doing all this wonderfully successful stuff, keeping your presence and your popularity out there? You want to do some original music at some point.
yeah, definitely, definitely. And something that I want to do. And I think I sort of know the sound that I want
Yeah.
now. I mean, there's so many different ways that I can go, but I think I know what the sound is that I want now. So this
Oh,
is going to be the year. Within this next
oh.
12 months, yeah, I'm going to be doing some stuff.
Well, that's something that I've thought of ever since I started finding you years ago and following what you were doing. I was that in the back of my mind. Not only did I want to have you on here and talk, but
Mm.
she's so solid at singing these cover stuff. I've been a cover band singer for 20 years. I didn't start singing until I was 46 years old, and I
Mm.
started in it. I had three rehearsals, two gigs this week. So I'm
Nice.
I'm a cover band guy, and I'm 64 years old. I'm 30 years older or so, and but I knew looking at you and the way you had this talent that may be an original thing. So I can't wait to follow and see where that goes. We'll have to keep tabs on where that's going because I'm very excited to see you sing original stuff, and I'm sure you're going to soar. And that's going to
Thank-
make people go, "Oh my God!" She sang that amazing Dreams the other day that I saw the clip of or whatever, and she's singing original stuff. Was there also a band Hollywood 54?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's again, cover band that I work in. And
Yeah, I found them online. I'm like, "Oh wait,
yeah,
what's
we
that
work a
mean?"
lot. Yeah, we work a lot. So that has sort of a vintage vibe also.
Right?
And we do some new stuff. We throw new stuff in there. We can really do anything, to be honest. I mean, if we get booked on a corporate gig and they want all new hits and dance music, we can do that. But really, our show is kind of vintage R&B thrown in with some like Amy Winehouse and stuff like that. That kind of fits that vibe.
Yeah.
And we have dancers, that work with us, and they choreograph to whatever songs we're doing. And
Wow.
we dress kind of retro, and
Yeah, I saw the pictures of you there, and I'm like, well, look at how their outfits are. It's wild,
yeah,
pretty.
and yeah, and they put out and we also do this kind of these electro swing remixes of songs, and so we perform those live, and it's kind of again like a retro vibe meets modern type of thing, and we get booked
Oh,
a lot. So I work in that band a ton, and I love the people in that band, and it's really fun.
and that's one of the things you're still doing. There was a couple of things I wanted to mention real quickly. You were in this Bravo documentary,
Yeah.
Bet It All on Blonde, where
Yes.
you performed as one of Eric Jayne's backup singers dancers. How did that come into play, and did you enjoy that experience?
It was so fun. It was amazing. Yeah. So it was actually the tour manager from Postmodern Jukebox. She's from Vegas, and she texted me one day out of the blue and said, "Hey, um, this I saw, my friend is booking this gig. I think you'd be perfect for it. Do you want to audition? Here's the info." And she sent it to me, and it was for Erica, and who is one of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and has a music career, and is I had a wonderful experience working with her. And anyway, she sent me the info for the audition, and I listened to the music. And again, I like all kinds of music. And Erica's music is just this kind of crazy,
Oh,
like disco-y pop, and I really liked it. I just thought the music was so fun. And I'm like, I want to audition for this. And I knew I was going to get the gig. I just knew it. I'm like, this gig is for me. This is my gig. I just knew it somehow. I remember I don't know why. And so the audition was in Vegas, and
oh,
um and I showed up, and I just knew. I'm like, I have this gig already. I got the gig. Like I don't know. I was so confident for whatever reason. And so I went in there, and I was the first person that they brought in. And after the fact, after I got the gig, they were like, "Oh yeah, you were the first person we saw, and we were the first person that we knew right away we were booking, like
yeah.
absolutely without a doubt." And so Erika was there, and her right-hand man, choreographer, musical director, creative director, Mikey Minden, who basically helped create the Pussycat Dolls, was there,
Wow.
and so I auditioned for them, and it was a dancing, and so you had to dance and sing, and I was a dancer on and off my whole life, so I did that, and I did great, and I just knew I had the gig, and I got the gig, and it was so fun. It was
Oh,
so fun. It was just, it was musically, it's not, we don't have there was no live band, it's not symphonic, complicated music. It's basically fun, fluffy pop music, and she's got like a big gay following, which is great. So the
great.
gays were showing up in droves, just dressed fabulously, and it was at the House of Blues,
Oh,
and we had these dancer boys in the show that were just super hot, and like we were just being hot and having fun, and the music was great. Erica's great. It was a fun experience. I loved it so much. It's one of the best things. That's memories for me of any gig I've had. It's so fun.
oh, that's
Yeah.
great. I was so curious about that one. I'm so glad you talked about that. Anything else that's going on right now that you're playing with that I haven't mentioned?
Um, no, I don't think so. The original music, the YouTube show, and then this new, some new songs with this guy out of New York. And then I just always have gigs.
Yeah.
I'm just working constantly. So, I'm working
Well,
this weekend. Every week I have multiple gigs. So I'm
well,
everywhere.
well, look, Sarah, you should feel extremely proud. You've got your humility of yourself, and that's wonderful to have as a person like you. But you are cranking. And again, the social media amount of people, I mean, you take that for what it is, and it's because people love what you're doing. And now, to throw the original thing maybe into it, but continuing to tour. Congratulations, Sarah, for what you're doing. I'm so happy that we got a chance to talk about this, and I'm going to be really excited to follow what you're going to be continuing to do, and we'll get back in touch, if and when you do something else. But thanks so much for being on Living on Music with me.
You're so welcome, Steve. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it was great, and I will be again. I was following you already, and I'm going to be following you even more now that we talked. But thanks again, and keep in close touch.
Okay, will do. Take care.
Thanks, man.
Okay.